Hi, well, I ended up looking at a lot of chariot cards, so I decided to break this into part one and part two. This first part's going to look at some of the history and the Rider-Waite-Smith and the ones that are kind of close to that. And then also a couple of sort of stuck cards or shadow cards. And then we'll go on to part two. So if you watch all the way through it. It's going to be shorter than some of my other videos, so you can watch all the way to the end. There will be a place to click so that you can get to part two. So welcome and enjoy. Please remember to click, like, and subscribe, and please share with anybody that you think might enjoy these sort of deep dives into the Fool's Journey, the Major Arcana, and the poems that I have written from them. Thanks a lot. Hello, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. We are doing the Chariot today. This is part of a series of 22 where we're exploring the tarot as poetry as well as through poetry that I have written in response to some of the images by artists. I like to start with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck in all of these because it is the iconic deck that most of us go back to. But I would like to talk a little bit also about the history of this card. So this is an image of the Visconti Sforza card. This is from way back in the 1400s. And it was created actually as a wedding gift. You can't see everything clearly. She is carrying a scepter and she is carrying that ball that means the world. But what's wonderful about this to me is that this charioteer is a woman. So the earliest charioteer in the deck was originally a woman. This changed over the years, mainly in the 1900s when the Rider-Waite-Smith and also Levy, I think, was another one who was involved in changing the charioteer to somebody who was male. So all of a sudden now, instead of that young woman with the horses, we have this very warrior-looking kind of guy with two sphinxes. The sphinxes were also created by Levy. He wanted to create sense that the tarot came from Egypt, which there is absolutely no reason to believe that it did. That's just it's a dream that he had, and it can certainly be useful to think about Egyptian images if you want to put them in your card. But these cards originated in Italy. And if they go back anywhere, the Chariot card goes back probably to Plato in his Phaedrus, where he talks about the human soul as a chariot. And that it is being pulled by two horses in different directions, one being sort of our appetites, which he sees as the lower part, and the other being pulled by what he calls the will or the spirit. So that black and white imagery has continued, but they have become sphinxes. What I do find interesting is that in this Rider-Waite-Smith card, they are definitely female. At least the one on the right is very clearly female. It might be that the black one was considered male. I don't see breast clearly there. But in Greece, the Sphinx was female. In Egypt, the Sphinx was male. So even in this depiction of what's supposedly Egyptian, the Sphinx is not correct because an Egyptian Sphinx would not be female. It is a card, as you can see, it looks like a card of victory. What's weird to me about the Rider-Waite card is that these two sphinxes are sitting down. They're not going anywhere. And this is a card of movement. This is a chariot. So that seems really very strange to me. The stars above the canopy, this is a Major Arcana, so we know that already it is an important card, an archetypal card. But to connect it with the star, which is a very hopeful card, I think is kind of interesting. It is very hard to see him going anywhere. He's in this square box that reminds me very much of both the Hierophant and the Emperor. So once again, we've got this male in this very square box. And even though it is a chariot, he isn't going anywhere unless those two sphinxes decide to get up. There's no reins in his hands or anything, so I'm not quite sure even how they pull this chariot. However, on the front of it, there are wings, which would obviously mean something about movement. You have to decide which way to go. If you're the one driving the chariot, hopefully you will be able to use some logic in deciding which way to go and not just be pulled whichever way these two creatures decide they want to go, which might be in two entirely different directions. So it seems to me that this charioteer needs some reins, for one thing. He has some kind of a scepter or something. It actually looks more like the magic wand of the magician. So there is power in this card. It's seen as a card of success, and it's seen as a card of movement. But to be quite honest, I don't find very much of that in this particular image. So I'm going to be happy to move on to some other artist depictions of this card and see what is similar to this card, what's different, and how we can read them. So I wanted to look at this card. This is from the World Spirit Tarot, which I have a lot of fondness for. I love the feeling of it being woodcuts, but also the wonderful, vibrant colors that she uses. And I think this is such an imaginative and wonderful card. He's still a warrior here. He has a spear. He looks like he's fond of his two steeds, which are not horses and which are not sphinxes. They are, in fact, zebras. But they are very unusual zebras because their tails are the tails of mermaids or of fish. So these are very magical. We are in a very magical place here. I love that he is dressed in such wonderful, wonderfully rich colors. He's going somewhere. They're on the edge of a hillside. There's this black cat under a tree up there that is a little bit interesting. And then you see the waves. The two zebra creatures look at each other and actually seem like they might very well be ready to work together. I like it also that they're black and white striped, sort of indicating that nothing we do is just one thing or another. There's always contradictory forces going on in our life, and yet somehow we can bring these together. And I kind of have the sense that this charioteer, who is smiling, who to me looks like he might be kind of contemplating where is it I want to go before he sets off, I feel that he's going to be successful. So let me read the poem first and then we can talk about it a little bit more. Zebras, not horses. But what zebras are these with the tails of mermaids? They wear purple collars with jeweled tassels, their eyes half closed, one's ears erect, the other's laid back. They are harnessed to this chariot of sun, moon, and stars, its roof curved above the charioteer. They've come down the grassy hill to the edge of the water. A hawk soars in the distance. A black leopard rests beneath the only tree. The zebra's hooves are already in the waves, their fish tails flickering, eager to swim. So I love that this is a card that really does feel full of movement. I also love that I can see him thinking. He is considering, where is it I want to go? And these zebras are, they are really ready to go at any moment. So he has this choice to make in terms of where he's going to go, what's his focus, and so forth. But it does look like he's going to be successful. I love that there are these two predators, a hawk and a black cat, that are in the sky, and yet they're not threatening at all to this person. If we think about what is this journey we're going on, I think we get a few different answers. The first thing I want to say is that one way to look at the tarot is to look at it as the Fool's journey. And so the Fool is card 0, and then you have 21 cards. This is the 7th card. If you break them into 3 groups of 7 cards, this is the end of that first sort of phase. And you could say that it might be that the soul or the person has gone through a series that brings them to this place of success. So far, there's success, and this person who is driving the chariot, and I'm going to say he here, but remember that this was a woman, whoever this is, driving this chariot. That may be the soul, that may just be our particular lifetime that we're in, is taking the time to think, where exactly do I want to go? He is carrying a spear, but he does not look like a warrior somehow. He looks like a traveler. So this card, which is a card of success, which is a card of going forward, and if I were to get this particular card in a reading, I would feel really good about it. I would say, yes, there's some place I'm going, and I am in movement there. I need to think about where I want to go, but this is going to be successful. So I like this card very much as a chariot card. I think this was probably the closest in a lot of ways of the chariot cards that I could find to the Rider-Waite-Smith. But as I said, that card seems to have so many problems that I was absolutely delighted to find this card. And I don't know where this place is, but man, if there are zebras with mermaid tails, I want to be there. That seems like a good thing to me. And that also brings it into the sort of the magical realm, and also the realm of spirit a little bit. This journey in a chariot with wheels is somehow going to be in the water. So I'm picturing like a chariot sort of going over the waves. And I just think that that's a very magical thing and a very magical place to be. But it also indicates, again, that water that has to do with the subconscious. So are we ready now to move on to an even deeper journey? Some people say this is a card of the young adult. We've gotten to young adulthood here. We're not a child anymore. The mother, the father, we've encountered all those things. And we may have let go of some of the traditions. We may have questioned some of the rules. We have autonomy here. We have a choice in what this journey is going to be. But for me, one of the key things in this card that I don't see in certainly all the cards, but I do see here, is this young man seems not only to be successful, but also thoughtful and kind. So I have a lot of optimism about him being successful in whatever this journey is that he chooses to take. This particular card always makes me smile. He just looks so happy. This is another one that is somewhat close to the Rider-Waite-Smith. There is a white horse, there is a dark horse, but actually they're not just horses, they're unicorns. And so that immediately tells me something. very magical about this place. Part of the reason I love this card so much is because he's a musician. He's playing a lyre and he is singing. He has that connection. Obviously, he's covered with these stars. The stars always are about intuition. He has the wing that are there, but instead of that sort of awkward wheel that was on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, he has a yin-yang symbol. So again, things spinning, but things also containing their opposite. It's a little bit like having the zebras there, that you can never have the black without the white. I like that very much. I don't want to talk too much more about that. I want to read the poem first, and then we can talk. This one's called The Road. Under a blue canopy of stars, he's plucking a lyre and singing, his voice filling this path through the trees. He loves his voice and all the voices around him, loves the road, his two steeds, one black, one white, their single horns, their green eyes. So I just wanted to capture what I felt was the magic of this, and the magic of the lore and magic of the road sometimes. He's on his way to somewhere and he is just happy to be on the road with these two beautiful unicorns with their single horns, their green eyes that feel slightly magical. And he's going to sing about it. But this young man, and I do like that it is a young person, actually could be a young woman also, this young adult has made it through, this far, has been successful. And not only is there with all the inspiration that the stars bring, but is also wearing the sunshine on their shirt. So the sun is always bringing good news, good fortune. And I just, I adore that I can see him singing, and just the way his mouth is shaped, I feel like he's enjoying singing. He's enjoying his own voice. He's enjoying playing the lyre. He's enjoying this entire process, this entire journey. And this makes me feel also that he is on the right road. Whatever choice he has made, or whether he's made a choice or not yet, he's on the right road. These two horses are not pulling in opposite directions. Their heads are bent a little away from each other, but you just feel like, yeah, they're just going to like trot along the road very happily together. It doesn't seem like they're in opposition at all. They are white and black, so they are showing that there's a bright side and a shadow side to everything, but there doesn't seem to be anything evil about this card. This just seems like a very successful card. And I think one of the things about the Chariot, or one of the things about our lives when we're moving forward towards something, we're being, and we're having some success, is, does it feel like dancing? It's like you're not really doing it unless it feels like dancing, unless it feels that effortless, or whatever it is for you that is that effortless. And I feel that he is. He's singing. He's enjoying this entire journey. And that's how you know that what it is you're doing is in accord with your inner self. This musician has not decided to become a dentist because his parents wanted him to. He is doing what he wants to do. He has made a choice. He may be a musician all his life, and he may travel all his life. This may be his road, and he may enjoy every single moment of it. But whatever choice it is, he is celebrating it. He is successful. Again, if I got this card in a reading, it would make me smile as it does just looking at it. I feel like this young person has made choices that are making him happy, and he's celebrating it for himself and for anybody else who can hear him, including his two unicorns. And I love it, actually, in the poem. I don't mention that because I didn't notice right away that they were unicorns. I just saw them and they were like, oh yeah, it was white horse and black horse. And then I looked and I went, no, they're unicorns. So, like, this is again like the zebras with the mermaid tails. We are in that magical place. We are in that place where spirit enters. And so this youth who has gotten to this point where he has the autonomy to make his own decision. Another thought about making the decision to be a musician, to be an artist, to be something that most parents are like, oh, don't be a musician. You'll never make any money. It's like, it's such a hard life. I mean, it's not easy to be an artist in our society. Very few people make it to, the top in terms of how much money they're making. But it's not about that. It's about the journey, and it's about the fact that he has developed into a young adult now, and he makes his own decisions. And when you do that and you take control of this chariot and where it's going, you are bound to have success. This particular card, shows that in many ways. Also, even just the band around his forehead, it looks like something that you would get if you had won something or you were being praised for something. So he's on his way. He's doing it in a balanced way. Again, we're seeing the yin yang there as a sign of balance, as well as these two beautiful unicorns. And he's doing it with the blessing of the star, all the star's intuition, all the hope of that the star brings, as well as the sunshine. The sun is shining on him. So I actually love this as a chariot card, and I wanted to share it with you. This next image is from the Golden Tarot by Kat Black. As you probably know by now, if you have been watching any of my other videos, I've shown a few images of hers. It is a collage deck made entirely from Renaissance paintings. This is an interesting departure from the Rider-Waite-Smith. She very consciously went back to the older decks and chose to have a woman charioteer. However, she does not have horses. She has two swans, a black and a white swan. She's carrying a spear. This woman could be a warrior queen. She looks like she's got armor on there. But she is leaving this city, or so it seemed to me. She is taking this barge down the river, and that whole connection with water is there again. There's this background of stars that almost seem like fabric, and they have this coat of arms on it, which could be connected to the queen, but it could also just be part of what she is leaving behind. If you remember, this card comes after the Hierophant, after making a choice. This is a young woman who is autonomous. Perhaps this is not something she wants to be part of, that she does not have power if she stays and takes part in whatever it is that's expected of her. So I saw this very much as a card of escape, and I'd like to read to you from that poem. The Barge. The woman with the tall pole has stolen this small barge, just big enough for one. She hoists her skirt up on one side, away from the water. This will be her escape from the sleeping city, that crooked horizon behind her. The barge is draped in red and black deerskin, its scalloped edges trimmed with white. The swans seem too small to pull this barge, but perhaps they know where they are going under this indigo sky where every star is red. Of course, swans are incredibly strong. They look fragile. So although they don't look strong enough, they are pulling this barge. And interestingly, she's not worried about where they are taking her. She has complete confidence that these two swans know where to go. And that's an interesting thing too, because she is relying in some way on a deeper knowledge, on that knowledge that is a subconscious knowledge. So that goes along with the water a bit, I think. Again, she is a young woman. She is claiming her autonomy in a time when women did not have much autonomy. Even if you were a queen, your life was very proscribed in terms of what you could do, what you couldn't do, who you could marry, all of those things. She has decided to, I was going to say walk away. She's not walking away. She is escaping by means of water and these two very strange steeds, which are swans. Swans are another one of those birds that apparently mate for life. So they're very loyal and they're very strong and they are very, very beautiful. So I feel like, what is pulling her? Is there beauty pulling her somewhere? Something other than this coat of arms, this duty in the sky. I think it's really interesting that Cat Black decided to use this sky that is all red stars. Not sure exactly what that means, but I think the way I would probably read it is not only are the stars blessing this, that there's hopefulness here, but that there's passion. The colors of the goddess in the trimmings of the barge, the black and white, the balance between that, and then this passionate hopefulness of the stars and this passionate inspiration. I feel strongly that this is a woman that is being drawn forward by beauty. Maybe she's an artist. Women weren't allowed to be artists. That was just not something you were allowed to do. Or maybe you were allowed to do as a hobby, but not anything serious. But she is taking this in her own hands. She's achieved autonomy. She's ready for this next part of the journey. What her life is going to be and what her internal life is going to be are both things that she has taken responsibility for. So I love this Chariot card very much as a card about autonomy, about remembering the power that we have, even when the world around us is telling us we don't have that power. This is a very different image, and I wanted to do a light image right now. This is from the Cat Tarot, and it has such a different meaning to me. It does have that wheel on the bottom, so there should be some movement going on here. But as you can see, the cat is just like sitting there in the chair, looking at us. And so let me read the poem, and then we'll talk about it. The chair. Just because there are birds flying on the fabric of this chair doesn't mean it's going anywhere. The cat doesn't care. This is as far as he wants to go. He leans his paw on the arm of the chair, stares at us, as if from the window of a train, checking out the countryside. So for me, this is a very, very different kind of Chariot card. It made me laugh. The wheel is there, so there is some indication that there could be movement. But in fact, he's not going anywhere. He's sitting in this chair. There are birds flying on the fabric, but as I say in the beginning of the poem, that doesn't actually mean that he's moving anywhere. He isn't. But this cat doesn't care. He's perfectly happy there. He's looking at us as if he's looking, for me, it looked like as if he's looking at a train window, except his train's not going anywhere. So it appealed to me in that way that it might appeal to a child, where you make a train out of the chairs in the living room and you all sit there and you all think, you all imagine that you're going somewhere when in fact it's just a line of chairs that you created. So this card does not seem as successful in terms of actually accomplishing anything. I'm not completely sure that this cat is an image of a young adult who has made choices, although certainly a choice to just stay still right now, knowing you have the possibility of movement. So you have that idea that you could go somewhere, but perhaps this is someone who has just not decided yet. Where do I want to go? And that's probably how I would read this if I got it in a reading. I would be like, well, you could move, but you are the one who has to decide where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you're going to get there. Because sitting in a chair is not going to do it. Just having dreams of a future is not going to make them happen. This is a stuck card, it seems to me. So it's not exactly a reversal or a shadow, but it is it's like the energy is stuck. This cat has not quite gotten to a place where it can make those decisions yet. So that's how I see that, and I enjoyed it as a light image, but also as another nuance of meaning. So again, even a light card can make you see something that you might not have seen. And for me, this being in this place where I'm not ready yet, I know there's a possibility to go places. Maybe I need a gap year. That's a little bit of the feeling that I get from this card that I enjoy very much. The next card I want to look at is related to that last card in a way, because it's another image of things not quite going right. Again, the person on this card is on top of the coach, not inside the coach. There might be reins. I can't really see that there are. It seems more that that the young man is balancing himself on top of this coach, which is a very rich coach. But these two horses are completely spooked. They are out of control, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to bring them back into control. This young man, this is ready to move. He is ready to do something, but he is so impetuous that he has no control. These, if you see the two horses in terms of the dark and the light, the shadow side and the bright side, the appetites versus the sort of soul card, they're both out of control. They're not working together, and it doesn't seem that there's any way for him to do anything about it. And he is looking ahead as if, is there something up there that can help me? But he certainly is not in control now. So I'd like to read you the poem from this. It's called Steady. Steady. These horses wear no bridles, yet they pull this coach, black with gold-trimmed windows and red tapestry seats. The man crouched on top is steadying himself with one hand, gripping the front edge of the roof. The horses, one black, one white, are running at a full gallop. The evening sky is red and gold. The land is turning violet. The very landscape, it seems, is saying there's something not right here. There's something troubling. So this is another one, again, I would see almost as a shadow card. It's like, okay, you've reached a place of autonomy, but you can't make the choice. You want both, and you have gone so impetuously down one road or another that the horses have spooked, and now you have no control whatsoever. So this is a card, I think, that, again, in a reading, I would think, beware, because things are moving forward and they're going too fast and you don't have control. You need to take some time to look, to be introspective, to make some choices. And don't just be looking out there for someone else to fix it. That's a very harsh reading, but I think that is what this card is about. I would not see this card and go, oh, you're on your way to success. Not with those runaway horses. No, the land is turning purple. It's getting dark. And then what? Then you have runaway horses and you can't even see? Yes, this seems like a very kind of dangerous Chariot card to me. I think it's very, very powerful. It's not one I would want to get, but I think it is important, as I said, to get these shadow cards that tell us, wait a minute, you're going full speed ahead, but you are totally out of control. It's important to get that card, because otherwise what? You just keep going down the wrong road, and there's nothing there to stop you, and you just keep like looking for someone else to take control. For this to happen, there's a little bit of lack of autonomy. You haven't quite gotten through those 6 lessons yet. You still need someone else to bail you out. You have to take responsibility for yourself and make the right choice. Appetites at this age, they can run wild and they can run us, into the ground. And, our poor other side, is being dragged along with that instead of having balance. It's not that appetite or desire is a bad thing, not at all. But you also have to have the rational side, the compassionate side, so forth. Difficult card, a difficult card. I wouldn't want to get this in a reading, and I wouldn't want someone else to get it in a reading. It would be hard to read this card for them, but this is how I would have to read it. Things are out of control, and you need to take responsibility. Well, here I am back with the Halloween Tarot. To admit that this is one of my favorite decks, and I just couldn't resist this, especially as we're kind of looking at the shadow sides, or the difficult sides of the Chariot card. So this is a hearse. It's being driven by a creature that has a jack-o'-lantern head. The cat is, of course, there. She's sitting quite close to him. There's all kinds of symbols on the card that I haven't completely looked at. Certainly the Sphinx image is there, and the stars are there, so that's hopeful. But there are all these sort of almost skulls, but they are orange, like as if they're like the skulls of jack-o'-lanterns. I don't know. I've been joyriding at one time or another, and that's what this made me think of. And so I called this poem Joyriding in a Hearse. The one driving has the head of a jack-o'-lantern. It's Halloween. Who cares where they're going, or how fast, or how many bodies are already filling the back? The black cat sits close to his side. On the graveyard fence, even the pumpkin skeleton heads look surprised. Sometimes the joyriding is too much. There's something about a hearse. I don't know if any of you have seen 6 Feet Under, but the teenage daughter who's still in high school kind of inherits the old hearse when they get a new one. So she is driving around in a hearse, and it made me think about that a little bit. Yeah, look at the look on this jack-o'-lantern. This is like really out of control. Like the last card we saw where the horses were out of control. This driver is out of control. The cat is sitting close to him as if, as if she has a girlfriend or whatever. But her ears are up like, holy cow, what's going on? There's all those heads on the side, which I said, even they look surprised. Even the jack-o'-lantern skeletons on, and I turned that into a graveyard, look surprised. So this is another card of being out of control. Clearly, this jack-o'-lantern head has not taken on the lessons that he just spent 6 cards trying to learn. The first time he gets into a vehicle, first of all, it's a hearse. Is it his hearse? Or is it somebody else's hearse? Are there dead bodies back there? It's Halloween, who cares? So it's that kind of disregard that, you know, who cares how fast we're going? Who cares if there's bodies back there? Who cares if my girlfriend's scared? I'm going to just do this thing, and we don't know, like, you know, I'm assuming he's going really fast. This is another one of those young adults who is still an adolescent, who has not taken on the lessons and the autonomy, who does not take responsibility for their actions. Who really doesn't care where they're going, as it's just the speed. And isn't that something that some young people just really love? Actually, some people of all ages really love. What's the point? Speed. Just the speed itself is enough. And the other part of it is it's transgressive. Whatever I'm doing is transgressive, and that's enough. That's a high. So, wow, this card is just saying to me, slow down. There is no chance of anything successful coming of this. First of all, the vehicle you've chose is a hearse that carries dead people. The second thing is you don't care how fast you're going. You don't know where you're going. Just joyriding. Is that what you're going to do for the rest of your life? You're just going to joyride through this whole lifetime? Or are you eventually going to take on some of those lessons, become a grown-up, and say, so I guess I got to pick a direction, and I guess I have to think about my passenger, and I have to think about the people on the road that I could run over, and maybe I need to think about what vehicle I want to drive, or if the vehicle is in fact myself, my body, my soul, is this the one that I want to drive into eternity? Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's fun for the moment, but are you going to grow out of that adolescent self into a self that takes responsibility, who says maybe there's a different way to take this journey? How could you have any stronger symbol than being a jack-o'-lantern head? I mean, empty-headed, big grin on his face. Yeah, there's some work that needs to be done. And so that's my take on that Chariot card. Thanks for being with me today. And if you click on there should be something on one side or the other. It should take you to part 2 of the Chariot. So I hope you enjoy it, and see you there.